Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to Griever Productions. I'm here once again with BTS. Now, I'm very keen to hear this one. A lot of people recommended in my comments in the last one to have a look at this cover of Coldplay's Fix You. I am a huge Coldplay fan. Love Coldplay. I love what they do. And it looks as though, just from the still image that I'm seeing here, that all 7 of the BTS guys are going to be part of this, which is very, very interesting. It's very, very good. I'm very intrigued to hear how they all go together. Now, with the last one as well, I did mention that I thought it was only the 4 vocalists, and I did. I honestly thought it was only the 4 vocalists, but I've been very quickly corrected in the comment section that we've got the 4 kind of vocal line, then we've got the 3 rap artists, right? So I'm very interested to see how the 7 of them go together. And I think that's why a lot of you recommended for me to have a look at this one, actually, which I'm very excited about. So, without any further ado, actually, just before we do begin, please do put a like on the video. It really does help. We also have a link to our merch and our Discord, if you would like to join in the conversations there. And, yeah, so let's have a look at this. Oh, please keep in mind as well, I will pause and break down the vocal and explain kind of what's happening, if I know what's going on. So let's give this a listen to Coldplay's Fix You, done by BTS. No captions, okay. Is this just a recording? Okay.
When you try your best, but you don't succeed.
Ooh.
When you get what you want, but not what you need.
Okay, all right, hang on. No. I'm going to break down that first vocal first. Let me re-listen to this.
When you try your best, but you don't succeed.
So, okay. Beautiful line, right? Beautifully sung. It's written beautifully and then has been performed beautifully once again here. So what you've got here is he's going from his head voice or falsetto into his chest voice, right? But what people will find hard a lot of the time is actually going from one to the other without it sounding jarring, right? But he's done this beautifully. When you try your best, but you don't succeed. The way that he does it is just stunning. Do it again.
Try your best, but you don't succeed.
And keeping on that note as well, there's not a lot of vibrato, which is good. Like, a lot of vocalists can get to a point where they start to just overdo the vibrato, but this song doesn't call for it. And this is a choice. This is clearly a stylistic choice that's been made here, and I love it. Please sing that again.
When you try your best, but you don't succeed.
It's just at the end.
When you get what you want, but not what you need. When you feel so tired, but you can't sleep. Stuck in river.
Interesting. Okay, my camera's just doing its thing. I need to replace this camera at some point. Interesting, because you've got the 2 voices together, right? Well, not together. Like, you've had one and then you've got the other. And you can hear where one changes in between head voice and chest voice is different to the way that the other has, right? So what I'm happy about, and I mentioned this in the last video as well, is that they haven't tried to force them to do it the same. They've leaned into what their voices are comfortable with, which is super important. So important.
When the tears come streaming down your face. When you lose something you can't replace.
Is that the gentleman doing the low vocal? Because that's beautiful. The other is as well. Do not get me wrong, but that vocal caught me off guard because that's really low. Like that's low, man. Hey, go back.
When you lose something you can't replace.
That's low.
When you love someone but it goes to waste.
That
Could it be worse?
okay. So I'm going to freak out in this video, right? Because every single person that's sung so far has had such an incredibly unique tone to their voice. And I know I mentioned in the last one that what will tend to happen more so with Western boy bands I'm noticing, right? Is that and forgive me for using the term boy band in this scenario too, but what will happen with, like, your kind of stereotypical Western boy bands, right, is that they get them to sing the same. They pretty much carbon copy them. But in this, they have so beautifully leaned into what each of them is good with. And this gentleman, keep in mind, I do not know the names of these people. People have explained the names in comments and stuff. But I'm still struggling with it, right? This next gentleman...
When you love someone but it goes to waste.
Like,
Could it be worse?
now, I'm going to say something about that I really don't want to be taken the wrong way, because I do not mean this in any form of negative, right? If you just played that to me and let me listen to that, I would not have thought that was a man. And again, I do not want that to sound like a negative, because it is such a tender, high tone that is done so naturally. Usually when men are in that sort of part of the voice, you can still hear it. You can hear that there's something there that tells you that it is a male voice. But that voice is so comfortable there that if I were to hear it, I would never have known that was a man. And again, that's not a negative.
Lights will guide you home and ignite you home, and how we'll try to fix you.
God, beautiful. So, and the reason that I say that it's so beautiful, right? Each one of these guys is getting their chance to shine, and there was a very understated harmony that wasn't overpowering anything at all. Like, I've been talking about this for nearly like 5 minutes, right? And we're like 2 minutes in. There's so much to break down with this many vocalists that are this talented. It's beautiful.
When time below, when you're too late to let it go. But if you never try, you never know just what you want.
That's another thing as well. Just there, right? And like that section that we heard where we had the two vocalists, then the other two vocalists, right? They're just doing octaves, which is still technically a harmony, right? But it didn't need to be anything extravagant. It's still beautiful.
And I swear God, you home and ignite your fire. And I will try to fix you.
And there's a harmony that was unnecessary, but I loved them. Like, that was beautiful. Go back.
fix you.
So my question is if this is done live, because it does say it's MTV Unplugged, right? If this is done live, I can only imagine the logistical nightmare of those headpieces, because I know I mentioned it before in the previous one. I'll talk about it later.
Let the beat in. Tears streaming down your face. But when you knew something you cannot replace, tears stream down your face, and
Ooh. There was an interesting change to the melody line there that I actually really enjoyed.
tears stream down your face. I promise you I will learn from all my mistakes. Tears stream down your face, and
I can see why they've done that.
lies
Sorry, let me go back. I want to hear something again.
down your face, and
Okay, all right. I see why they've done that change. I see why they've done that change there.
lies and ignite your bones, and I will try to fix you.
Damn. Wow. Wow. Well, crap. How do I pull this apart? Wow. Okay, so what I was saying before, how recording this live, right, which it's an MTV Unplugged, so I assume that it was being sung there while they were being filmed, right? I could be wrong. Let's assume that I am, right? Let's assume that I'm right? The logistical nightmare of the in-ears, right? Because I mentioned in the last video that each of them may have a different instrument or a different person that they're trying to pitch off. Whoever did the mix in each ear would have to be on point. Because let's say, for instance, right, I'm going to go back here for a bit. I just want to see all 7 of you gentlemen at some point here. That works well for me. Okay, so this gentleman on the left here. Let's say, for instance, well, okay, these two are singing together, so obviously these two need to hear one another, right? So let's say, for instance, this gentleman may never sing with this one. So he technically doesn't need him in the earphones. I really hope my mouse is actually being recorded at the same time. I actually don't know if it is. So in the mix, right, for this gentleman, he doesn't need to be there. So you can turn that off straight away, right? For example, I don't know if this is true or not. This is just, spitballing. But he may not want to hear him at all. He may be very distracting for him. Again, hypothetically. So he may just want the music in his ears. Okay, so all the other boys get turned down, the music gets turned up, right? But if those guys that are operating the music get it wrong, it makes it so hard for any of these guys to work at all. Because if they're not hearing the right thing, they may get the timing wrong. They may not hear themselves, so they may get their harmonies wrong. They may not, there's so much that can go wrong with them. But they did a phenomenal job. Like, these guys were phenomenal. And the way that all of their voices blend, and they were able to give each member a starring role, you know what I mean, in all of this was just beautiful. Like, it's rare to see a bunch of guys like this be able to hold notes and harmonies the way they do. Well, anyway, this was beautiful. This was incredibly well done. And I don't know what else to say, so I'm going to leave this here. But thank you guys so much for watching. Like a favorite if you enjoyed, subscribe, do all that sort of thing, and I will see you in the next one. Bye for now.